to Marist and to their communities. Today, the Alumni Association singles out one individual for special recognition as the recipient of the 2014 Distinguished Alumnus Award. The Marist School Distinguished Alumnus Award honors a graduate for outstanding achievement in his profession and civic endeavors. The recipient demonstrates leadership and is eminent in his or her chosen profession, as well as esteemed in the community for leadership in civic and/or religious affairs, thereby exemplifying the qualities of the Marist mission in everyday life. Such individuals incorporate the values and principles upon which Marist School was founded and serve an inspiration to you, to me, and to all future generations. It is my privilege to welcome to you the 2014 Distinguished Alumnus from the class of 1988, Bret Baier.
Thank you very much, Sean, Archbishop Gregory, Father Kanzen, Father Harhager, distinguished faculty, staff, loving parents, grandparents, family, friends, and above all, you, the graduates of 2014 of Marist School. Congratulations. This is a big day. This is your day. And thank you for letting me share some of the excitement of being here today. While this is all about you, I will say it is a big honor for me to come back to Marist delivering the commencement address. I sat in a similar chair listening to our commencement speaker and the whole thing back in 1988. That was, believe it or not, 9,499 days ago. I truly celebrate your accomplishments, and you have a lot to look forward to. And since I was already calculating, I decided to keep going. Think about this. On average, and this is an average because some of you might be on a longer plan, but on average, you will be in school, actually in school, 3,080 days in your life. 3,080 days. That's college included if you choose that. That's roughly 21,560 hours of school. 1,293,600 minutes. And they told me there'd be no math. Now, 3,080 days is longer than the Civil War lasted. It's longer than World War I. It is longer than World War II. It is longer than the Korean War. It is longer than the Iraq War lasted. Okay, there's some blank stares out there. Think about it this way. 3,080 days ago, Keeping Up with the Kardashians was not on TV yet. It was still an idea by Ryan Seacrest. I don't watch that show. My wife does. I may have watched it a couple times. All right, I watched it. Bottom line, you have been going to school for a long time, and you may choose to continue that journey. A lot will transpire in those 1.3 million minutes, and trust me, you are better for all of them. But enough about numbers. Marist taught me a great deal. Beyond the books, it taught me how to be a better friend. It taught me how to think outside the box. It taught me about my faith. I ran for student council president alongside my friend Dan Ketter, who was the vice president, and our ticket, as impressive as we thought we were, could not outpromise or outposter board sign any of the other candidates. So we wrapped our campaign speech over the loudspeaker to be a little different. You heard correctly. We wrapped the speech to the beat of Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight with different words. And obviously it worked. We managed to squeak out a win. I'll spare you today the hip-hop, a hip-a, hip-a, hip-hip-hop, you don't stop, but I won't go down that road. But it is still in my head from those practice sessions. By the way, Dan Ketter is now Father Dan Ketter. Many of you know him. I don't know if he uses the rapping skills in any homilies or not. I also first learned to be in TV news here in Marist. I shadowed Marist alum, former WSB TV sports anchor Ernie Johnson Jr. Now Ernie's, of course, the face of TNT Sports, the NBA show. Those weeks really centered me on TV news. I loved sports. I was the sports editor here for the Blue and Gold, but increasingly I was drawn to news. I worked on it in college, and one semester I interned at CNN in Washington. I actually worked for Inside Politics, a show by Bernard Shaw. I wrote there, did some writing. I actually wrote, "Welcome to Inside Politics" on Bernard Shaw. That's about what I wrote. I also did the trivia question before the commercial break. I got to pick that. That was a big deal. Also, Bernie, strangely, liked to eat popcorn during the commercial breaks. And I brought him his popcorn, which I always thought was a strange snack for an anchor, you know, the kernels and the teeth and everything, but he liked it. I told myself at least I was in the business, or, okay, I was around the business. And I thought then, like I think now, that actually doing something, rather than strategizing it for a long time and thinking about it, fretting about it, how to get somewhere. Don't get me wrong, I think mapping out is a good thing. But you have to jump in at some point. You have to take a chance. And eventually the path to success will show itself to you. It'll be revealed to you. I like thinking like this, that it's like driving down a dark highway. It's pitch black, and you have just the headlights on your car. And you can only see a few feet ahead of you. But you can see those few feet on the road. And you keep it on the road, and you keep driving forward. And every once in a while, you can flash your headlights, and you can see a little bit more of the road. And then eventually it's sunrise, and you see a lot more of the road and where you're going. And eventually you get there. You're always moving forward a little closer to where you want to go. And that's really what I saw for a few years, just a little piece of the road in front of me. I didn't know how I was going to get to my dream. I just knew I was driving toward it and absolutely loved it. By the way, I saw Bernie Shaw recently in Washington at an event, and I said, "I interned for you at CNN. I got you your popcorn." And he paused and he said in his deep voice, "Who gets you your popcorn now?" After he said that, I actually thought about maybe doing popcorn in commercial breaks. After CNN, and Your Eminence, I got the message. We're going to speed this up. After CNN, I bounced around small market TV. From Beaufort, South Carolina, I was the Low Country bureau reporter with big stories about what color the azaleas would be in the median and loggerhead sea turtle nesting, to an NBC affiliate in Rockford, Illinois, to a reporting job in CBS at Raleigh, North Carolina. I didn't know how I was going to get that national network break, but I knew I was still on the road. I knew I was going to get there. I'm a true believer of tapping into that imagination, envisioning yourself, whatever you want to do, to feel it like you'd be there, and then get to that position, to own that vision, and to fight for it. I started with Fox News Channel soon after the channel started, 17 years ago. The Atlanta Bureau started in my apartment with a fax machine and a cell phone, and it's been quite a ride. I may, by the way, add that Jack's fax to the show. I heard it's a good element. I don't know. It took a while for this vision to become clear, but I never let go of it. And the path of how to get there was revealed. So my message to you is embrace the journey. To graduate from Marist, this school, puts you in a great spot along that journey. You're blessed. You're blessed for many reasons, but first of all, you live in the United States of America. Ours is an age of transition. So one where the future, its shape, our modes of living, earning a living have never been more susceptible to rapid and dramatic change. You know, which industries will be around in a decade, which companies will be around, which graduate schools will be around. But what you can believe in, to borrow a phrase, is hope and change. Not the hope and change of any campaign, but the hope and change that is distinct to young people like yourselves, the people who change the world every generation, just as the fathers of the digital revolution did 4 decades ago. Another of the blessings you possess is your youth, your innate taste for change. In short, if there's anybody who can ride these tidal waves of the change era for fun and for profit, inner enlightenment and positivism, it's you, our young people. Because hope beats in your hearts and change is yours for the making. I'm going to leave you with this story, a story that changed my life forever, and it gave me perspective. My son Paul is almost 7 years old. When he was born, he was given a clean bill of health. And then a nurse noticed he was starting to turn pale the first day in the hospital. Testing on his heart revealed that he had 5 serious congenital heart defects, and he had to have surgery, emergency surgery, within a few days to be alive. So you can imagine, we went from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows in a matter of hours. Paul went into surgery a few days later, and it was an 8-hour surgery. The surgeon came out, said it was one of the most complicated and longest surgeries he'd ever done. And this is a surgeon who does 200 surgeries a year. He retooled the way my son's heart works, a heart at that time the size of a walnut. He made it work the other way. He moved around arteries the size of angel hair pasta. After this, he was recovering immediately afterwards. Paul's chest was left open, and there was a clear plastic bandage over the chest. Again, he's 12 days old. I can remember in intensive care, my wife and I looking down at his chest and that walnut-sized heart beating. And I remember a few things. I was overcome with gratitude that God was watching down on us. I was overcome with gratitude about the skill and expertise of the surgeon and this team that had saved him. But I was also paralyzed with fear and worry that that little walnut-sized heart was going to stop beating. And I kept staring at it. At times it seemed overwhelming. It seemed too much to take. And every day was a battle in the cardiac intensive care unit. But we prayed together. We were together. Family and friends rallied around us. And when one of us was down, the other was up, vice versa. At the end of the day, my wife Amy and I would give each other a teary-eyed five and say, we are one day closer to bringing Paul home. He's a little fighter. Eventually, we did bring him home. Since then, he's been through 2 other open heart surgeries, 7 angioplasties, and a stomach surgery. And I just left him. You would never know on the playground. He is the tallest kid in his class. He's got energy nonstop. He's bouncing off the walls. He plays soccer, basketball, baseball. He loves school. He's doing great. It doesn't get any easier. We're going to have more procedures ahead. But with each one, my wife, Amy, and I really did envision the sight of us leaving the hospital, the feeling of that day, and heading home. And we ended up getting there. Our car on that dark highway was driving. And it was just a few feet at a time. No matter how the challenge is, no matter what challenge you have to overcome, a physical challenge, an emotional challenge, an economic challenge, succeeding in college, getting that first job, you have to fight for it. You really do. Sometimes it's tough. Sometimes you have to dig it out. Sometimes it takes a while to get what you want, but you'll get there. Along the way, along that ride, you'll learn what's important to you. I wrote a book about our family's journey. It's called Special Heart. It comes out in about a week and a half, June 3rd. And it's a little bit of my journey to Washington in there, too, and Marist is in there, too. So it's worth getting. But I'll leave you with this from the book. From Paul's last angioplasty. I stayed overnight in the hospital with him. Quote, during that overnight stay, I was sleeping on the couch next to Paul's bed. He woke up in the middle of the night, and out of the blue, he asked me, Daddy, why do I have to do all these things, these heart things? And all my friends in school don't have to. That question hung there in the air for a little while, and I scrambled to think. I said, buddy, because God has a plan for you. You're going to do amazing things in your life, and he's got big plans for you. But he wants to test you first to see if you're up for it. And you're passing the test. You're doing great. He just looked at me and said, okay, Daddy, I love you. And then he rolled over and went to bed. I do a lot of ad-libbing on air, but that was one of my better efforts. Now, as we wait for the next step, we know God does have a plan, and we're trusting that Paul, the fighter, is fitting right into it. Trust me. God has a plan for you. You may not know it yet, but he does. And by graduating from this amazing school, you are continuing this great journey. So today, congratulations first of all, live life and think about what you want. Own it, feel it in your bones, and start driving. Good luck, and God bless.